Hi everyone, my name's Kay Kalthoff. Welcome to a Stamping to Share video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I'm going to share with you how to create these cards. We have a regular size card, minus 1/4 inch, which I'll tell you about later. And we have some little 3x3 cards that I've been sending to my customers this month who place online orders with me. So I'll share you a few tips and tricks to making these cards. But first I want to show you the card that inspired me. I was inspired by a Christmas card that I received. You can see there's a lot of white space, and I love the star cutout with the really pretty design behind it. And then of course there's just a cute little sentiment. And so this is the card I created based on that design. So down here you see that we have a flower punch out. We have a small sentiment right here. And then we have a jumbo brad, and I'll teach you how to use that without the legs today. So we'll go ahead and get started. And this is a regular size card, minus 1/4 inch. And what I mean is I took a regular 8.5 inch by 4 1/4 inch piece of, or 5.5 inch by 8.5 inch piece of paper, folded it in half, which makes a 5.5 by 4 1/4 inch card. However, I took that last 1/4 inch off. This card seemed to want to be thinner as I was working with it, and so that's what I did. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this Blossom Punch, which is still available in the Occasions Mini Catalog, and we're just going to set it so that the paper comes all the way to the bottom of the punch and that you can see just a little bit of edging on the side. And then we just make our punch. And we're ready to roll with the next step, which is stamping our sentiment. And so the sentiment, You Inspire Me, is from the Perfect Words stamp set, and it's actually one of our stamp sets from our Hostess collection in our catalog. And so we're going to go ahead and stamp You Inspire Me. So I'm going to do that here off to the side. And you can see what that looks like. Now we'll go ahead and we'll put paper in this. And so what I've done is I've cut a 3 3/4 inch piece of paper by 5 1/4 inch. And we are going to take some dimensionals. And the reason I put dimensionals on this is I like it to have a bit of a space between the punch out and our pattern paper, because that space helps the punch out to cast a bit of a shadow, which gives your card more depth. And so we're going to go ahead and just put this down. That looks about right. And so you can see we're almost done with this card, if you can believe it. And so the next thing is that I took a jumbo brad, and it has the legs like this, and I just cut them with my rubber and craft scissors from Stampin' Up. And when you have the legs cut off, it looks like this. And we're just going to put a couple of dimensionals right here into that indentation. Whoops, I better take the little peely off. So here's another one. And that's going to pop it out. So we're just layering 2 dimensionals in there, and that'll pop it out enough so that I can set it. Actually, I want to use I like to use my paper piercer, because then I can kind of see where I'm setting it and make sure that it's nice and even. So there is our card. Now I like to finish the insides of my cards, and I think this looks a little bit off. I don't like all this paper over here with all this white over here. There's not enough balance for me. So what I'm going to do next is take some snail, and I'm just going to cover this side so that we have matching sides. And then of course it would be a little hard to write on all this designer paper, so I took another layer of Whisper White paper, and I believe this is cut at 3.5 by 5 inches, and I just layer that right over the top. And now our inside looks just as fun and gorgeous as our outside. So I hope you enjoyed that. The next thing we're going to talk a little bit about is our 3x3 cards. And I have a couple of tips for you when creating 3x3 cards. First of all, of course, you cut them 3 inches by 6 inches and fold them in half. And then when we punch out our flower, let me show you what this looks like. If I can find the, what did I do? Oh, here we go. Here's the flower punch. You can see it might be a little hard to know exactly where to punch, and so when I have that situation, I like to take a 3x3 inch piece of paper, and when you fold it in half, or fold it on the diagonal, and then fold it on the diagonal again, you can see that there's an exact center to your square. And so to transfer that to the front of our 3x3 card, I just fold it all up and I just cut just the very edge or the very tip of the center out so that you have a little template that looks like this. Then we just put it right on top of our 3x3 card, and I take a pen and I just make a mark right here in the middle. Then when I go in with my blossom punch, you can see that I have a starting point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from those peaks and that center so that my dot is in the very center of the card. And once I feel like I've got it where I want it, I go ahead and punch it out. And then we have a very nicely centered punch out for our 3x3 card. And then this goes together in very much the same way. We're going to take our pattern paper, we're going to take our dimensionals and put it on the side that we want to show through. And then we'll go ahead and remove the peelies. Alright, and then we're just going to center that. This is, the pattern paper is 2 3/4 inches square. So now our card is done, but it looks a little naked or a little bare without anything setting off the center. So then I'm going to use our Blossom Bouquet triple layer punch. Just take a piece of scrap vanilla, and I set this down and use the palm of my hand to get a nice good punch. Whoops, I didn't have it set on the right setting. One thing you have to remember about the Blossom Bouquet punch is you have to make sure you have it on the setting you want. So there's 3 different settings. So I need to pull it all the way over to this one. So we'll try it once more. There we go. Now we have some more pieces to pick from. And this is the piece I want. So now we're just going to take a mini glue dot, and I'll put a mini glue dot on here. And again, I'm going to get my paper piercer so that I know where this goes. I'm just going to go ahead and set it right into my card like that. And then to give it just a little bit more pizzazz, I'm going to take the circle punch from the Itty Bitty Punch Pack and just punch out a little punch. And again, put that on with a mini glue dot. Use my paper piercer for placing. And then we'll put that right in the center. And that just jazzes it up so much. And now it's all ready to send to one of my customers. Hope you have a great day. Thanks so much for joining me. And stop by again soon. Bye-bye.